What are you saying, people? It's another episode of The Social Worker and the Mentor. So people, just to say, I'm always going to say, just thank you so much for everybody who is following and plugging our content. This podcast that, myself and Rob have been doing. It's been a journey, and we're not at the 100th episode yet, but we're getting there. But thank you so much for everyone who's followed us. We are seeing that you are liking and subscribing and you're sharing. And just to say, our Patreon is already up and running. So please, where you can, like and subscribe. You're seeing different content for the podcast. And I'm always going to say, if you want to be a guest, you email thesocialworkerandmentor@gmail.com, or you can just DM myself and Rob. And don't forget, we've got the panel as well. So people, I want to say that I'm very, very honored and proud. I've got my cousin today with me. And my cousin's just doing bits in her. I keep telling her she's not plugging her stuff enough, but introduce yourself, guys. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Yourlance Thomas and I'm from SELFguarding. Yay.
Right, so before we actually go into SELFguarding, because what I want to say is, first and foremost, very, very proud of you, because you got to tell the people what's happened recently.
How recent are we talking about?
Recent. You know what I'm talking about.
What, just the other day?
Just the other day. So, cause on social media, come on, you let the people know.
I had my first son.
Yay! And also?
And I won an MBE.
Hey! No. Congratulations. Big addition to the family.
Thank you.
How did you feel about the MBE?
When I first heard about it, I was like, oh, okay. Just very blasé. Oh, okay. It wasn't real till it was real. And then on the day, it was like, oh my gosh, why am I here? I was questioning everything that I was doing. Like, am I really here because of this? Is this really good? Is this a good thing that I've been doing? And it was just, let me just say, it was overwhelming. But I enjoyed the moment. It's nice.
But guys, to be honest with you, no, you deserve it. And I think you need to talk about why you got it. SELFguarding. So talk to everybody about SELFguarding. What was your inspiration for SELFguarding? Where did it stem from? Where did it come from?
So it comes from a personal story. So I'm an athletics coach. I coach at Mile End. And unfortunately, I witness inappropriate behaviour with children, to the point that I whistle blew and ended up losing my coaching position. And I was really angry because the athletics people who run our licenses got involved. And I was questioned like I did something wrong. And then I went home one night and I couldn't sleep. And I was like, what is wrong with this system? Why are children so open to abuse? And I was like, this was just getting on my nerves. I couldn't sleep. And then I got an email to say that I've got to renew my safeguarding course. And I was just like, why do I have to review my safeguarding course and I've done nothing wrong?
Yeah.
So while I'm on this course, I'm just like, this is why children don't know nothing. Because safeguarding is about us adults being educated, but no one's educating the children about what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. So
let's flip the script. If they knew what we were supposed to be doing as professionals, as adults, a lot of this stuff wouldn't happen, because we would be liable. They would question us, because kids were like, well, why are we doing that? And because there's nothing challenging us adults, we're going to get away with it. So I decided to flip the script on safeguarding and write a course on how children can question us and identify our behaviours in our environment.
So, because what you was talking about because you whistle blew, and you said obviously they had taken away your job role because of what happened. From that, because you must have been in a very, very, very low place. Did you lose faith in the system?
I did lose faith in the system, and I just got angry.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm doing the right thing, but I'm getting punished for it. And the people who did the wrong thing aren't getting punished for it. So it bothered me. And every time I was like when I did the safeguarding course to renew my license, I just kept on picturing these people who got away with something, who are still practicing what they're practicing, even though it was evidence-based.
So when eventually you developed SELFguarding, because I say to you, because you don't post enough, a lot of the work you do, I see the work you do with your young people. You're doing a lot of work regarding teaching them about your sense of self. So what is the SELFguarding model? I've seen it online. What is the SELFguarding model? I want you guys to plug it. I want you to plug it. No. This is my family. Yeah, this is my family. No. What is the SELFguarding model?
It's about teaching young people awareness and how to understand and read their environment so they can better protect themselves from adults who would like to manipulate them. And that's simple as that. It's nothing fancy. It's just getting them to understand what each different environment should look like, what it should sound like, what it should be like, how it should feel like, and getting them to be more plugged into where they're at. And
you've translated that into sports. You have. Yes. And I've seen the work that you've done with a lot of your young people. I've seen the work you've done on track. You also go into schools as well. What's the responses been like from let's say the young people? What have the young people said when you've gone and you're teaching them about SELFguarding?
They love it. They actually love it because we have a practical side of it where I get a coach to come in and actually deliver sports with them, and I have athletes who come in and actually show off their skill. So having that interaction with a real coach, a real athlete, and then going back and forth just talking about how they feel and what's been happening to them, they love it. The schools love it. I've got nothing but great feedback.
And what about the professionals?
Well, originally when I wrote this course, I tried to give it away to England Athletics, because that's where
Team GB.
Well, there's England Athletics and there's Sports England. There's all different branches.
Yeah.
So I tried to give it away, and I said, look, I've done this course. Why don't you take it, pull it up, so then children can go on it, so then they can identify a good and bad sporting environment. They was like, no, we don't need it. Nobody wanted to touch it with a barge pole. Nobody, which made me just realise anything to do with children is such a great area. No one really wants to deal with it. They rather hide away and shy away from it and just get a plaster, put over it and say, oh, go on this course and you'll keep yourself safe. It's not keeping the child safe, keeping yourself safe. Or another way I like to look at safeguarding, it sounds really horrible, but safeguarding courses are to help predators identify vulnerable children.
Because going a bit more, that's a deep thing. You can't leave a cliffhanger like that. Go on. No, go in. No, I think I get what you're saying, but I want you to articulate it. Go a bit further.
Okay, so for me personally, is when all our safeguarding courses is how to identify a vulnerable child, how to identify their needs or anything of the above like that. If you're a predator and you can go on these safeguarding courses and everyone will give you ideas of how to figure out if a child's in need, but there's nothing to counteract it. So it's like all these predators can go out there and then say, oh, I know if a child's looking a bit like this, or the mum's not hanging about, or they look a little bit like this, or they look a bit like this, they're vulnerable. You've just opened another floodgate for kids to be violated. That's my views on safeguarding.
And that's the reason why from your end, you wanted to change the term to make it to be with SELFguarding. And I guess what you're basically saying in your model is that you want to be able to give children and young people the autonomy to be able to challenge the adults. If from their lens, they're not seeing that the adults are being protective of them. So when you've gone and spoken to practitioners, professionals about the fact that actually it's about letting young people holding us to account, has there been a bit of resistance? Because you've already said no.
Absolutely.
Oh, it has.
I've had resistance. And that's not to say safeguarding doesn't work, but it needs support. Because if I don't know, say for example, what you're supposed to be doing and there's other people around, it might not feel right to me, but no one else is questioning you. I'm going to just go with the flow.
Yeah.
But if I actually have information of what it's supposed to be like, I'm going to be like, I'll be more confident to talk to you about it and say, well, I'm not really comfortable with this because, and I'll challenge it. It just opens the doors for children to speak. But it's like, they'll only speak if once they have the backing from someone they've heard of. Like a parent or a teacher. This is why I wanted self-guarding to be in schools, because even though we think children don't listen to teachers, as soon as you question them, well, my teacher says this, they do listen.
They do listen,
And you know, just saying like, our parents told us stuff when we was growing up and something happens, no, well, my mum said this, they listen. So it's really important that it's taught in that base, in a school or from parent households, that so then they build their confidence to speak up.
In terms of the work you're doing for self-guarding, how are you trying to well, actually, you mentioned it, I'll go to schools in a bit, but in terms of, for example, local authority, so obviously, you know, I'm a social worker. How have you approached local authorities in terms of trying to integrate it into their practice model?
I get a lot of back push because it's so new. What a lot of people said, that I've just invented literature for stuff that didn't have literature before, so now it's hard to place. And that's what I'm getting at the moment. It's just that we can't place this because it's not done before. It's like, well, nothing was done before until it was done before. And that's the backlash that I'm getting at the moment. Well, I wouldn't call it a backlash, a setback at the moment. It's not been done before.
And what about schools? Are schools more open?
Schools are open, but unfortunately they don't have funds. And that's the issue. And this is why when I approached the Department of Education, I wanted to see if it can be part of the school curriculum. And it's, again, I've created literature that didn't need to be created in their not their personal eyes, but in the world, that you just done something, we can't place it because we've got nothing to compare it to. And that's my challenge.
Okay. So in terms of online, if young people or parents want to be able to access self-guarding, is there a referral hub? How is it? So if I'm a parent or I'm a young person and I've seen self-guarding, how can they have access to your organisation?
Well, I've got an online course called the Haley's course.
Right.
So they can go onto the course online and take the course if they would like to, or if they want a more personal approach, we do workshops where myself, my colleagues will go in and deliver. And
where is your team based? Because I want you guys to go a bit more, because I know you're being very humble about self-guarding, but I want you guys to, like, where are you based? What is your team like? Just talk a bit more, man.
So I'm still doing everything from home.
Okay.
I'm still actually still doing everything at home. Again, it's been hard to try and self-fund self-guarding. The challenges are funding, again, because when I do go for grants or whatever like that, I don't get it because I don't fit the criteria, I don't fit the bracket of where I should sit, so it's very hard. And a lot of the things that are one of my challenges is that I should be a charity,
right,
which is like a whole nother set of stuff that I've got to try and figure out. Ideally, I would just like to give self-guarding to someone who can help young people, who's plugged in and say, take this, let's help the young people. But even the top authorities can't even do that.
And I want to talk about the logo, so the hand.
Okay.
Where did that come from?
Okay. It was a group of us sitting in my front room, and one of the ladies named Tessa, she came up with this handprint and with the self-guarding logo. So I was like, make sure it's the right hand. And she goes, well, why is that? Because I said, because it's the right way.
Okay. And then what was the response? So the young people, you know, when you're working with the young people, right? Because like I said, I've seen a lot of work that you're doing, that you've done online, and I think one of the pictures that I've seen is one whereby the hand is there, but it's on multiple. It's different kind of colors. I think it's like you've got a purple hand, a pink hand, a blue hand. It's on Instagram. What does that picture mean?
For me, it's just the hands being symbolized the right way. Always go the right way. That's what that symbolized to me. It's the right way. The right way. All the time.
No, I mean, because you know, to be honest with you, what you're doing. I mean, it's unfortunate that authorities are not buying into this, because I guess you're right. Self-guarding, it's got a different spin on it, to be honest. And I think it's a model that does need to be rolled out and to be used. If because you had your way, if you were going to roll it out, because I know you said that you've got the program that anybody can go and access. But if, say, for example, you had the opportunity where someone said, you know what, I'm going to integrate self-guarding into a school curriculum or into a local authority, how would you want it to be integrated? It's a very, very big question I'm asking you. I know why I'm asking you, but if you want it to be integrated, how would you want it to be integrated? So if I was a social worker and I am a social worker and I want to do training, one, how would you make it a model? And two, what would you want practitioners to learn from this? Deep question, probably no one's going to ask it, but I need to ask you that.
No one's actually asked me how I would like it to be rolled out or how I would like it to be presented to anyone before, actually. Ideally, because I know it's so new, it's just to start off with leaflets, information guides, make it and to be a bit more of a practical interaction as opposed to sit down and writing. That's how I would like it to come out. Just easygoing, not forced, just easygoing, relaxed. Because I've learned from working in a school myself, when you sit down and you try and push something on a child or force something, it's not a fun environment, they don't receive the message. And it's very like, oh, when is this over? But if it's more interactive, more fun, gradual, so rather than doing a whole day, it's just pieced in throughout the week. Something like that. That's how ideally I would like it if it's going to be rolled out in schools.
I have got a question for you, and I want to go back to what you were saying about safeguarding. From what you've seen from your experience, what are I'd say the limitations that you've seen within safeguarding as a whole? It's a big question, but I know you mentioned a bit about the fact that if you are a predator and you want to see how this young person's not negative, but see where their needs are, where they're vulnerable, that this is what predators can access. But from your perspective professionally, what are the current limits that you're seeing within safeguarding as a whole across the country? Because there's a lot going on for young people
100%.
In the communities. What are the limits that you're seeing from your end, from the outside?
The limits that I'm seeing is that children are not aware. That's the limit. Because just imagine, like, for example, you bring your child to a sporting arena, for instance, and you as a parent, you don't know nothing about a sporting arena, but you just heard some great things about this place. A lot of parents tend to just drop their kids off and go, right? So when you come pick up your child, you're going to say to your child, oh, how was it? Oh, it was fine. That's what they're going to tell you, because they're not going to give you no more information because it was fine. Because you've not, as a parent, given them information of what your sporting arena is supposed to look like or sound like, what it should feel like for them. But just imagine if now you was, as a parent, you gave them that insight. Oh, when you go here, the coach is not supposed to speak to you in a certain way. This is just, session's supposed to be this long. This is how that's supposed to happen. And then you go and pick them up. They go, oh, it was fun, but this didn't happen, that happened. You're opening doors for them to communicate with you and tell you actually what the environment's like. Because unfortunately, a lot of parents don't have the time to sit and watch their child doing activities. And that's one of the issues at the moment. Parents are dropping their kids off and just trusting them with strangers. Without no information.
So I guess, because what you're basically saying, and what you're saying is right, is that what you're trying to do with your model is that you want young people to be, and children to be a lot more kind of risk averse in terms of what's happening around them. Because you're right, actually, those conversations, you're correct in terms of parent, because obviously once your child's out in the community, obviously you're a parent, the hope is that you pick a child up, nothing happens. But what you're basically saying is self-guarding is about very much being self-aware of your surroundings. If a stranger asks you and says, can you come here, you go and say no. If someone says do this, you go and say no. So that way you come home, and as what you just said earlier, that actually, mum, dad, I went here, but actually, I went to the toilet, somebody was asking me to come in to hear this and this and this. So parents are very much upskilled, and because you're correct, you're correct in what your model's trying to say. And you see with the hand as well, I probably got it wrong. Tell me if I've got it wrong, but you know what you're saying, doing things the right way. I'm also seeing the hand as a way to go and say stop.
100%
as well. That's how I've, is that the
no,
right?
that is
That's how I've kind of interpreted that. If you're a young person and someone's doing this, stop. And actually, that is what basically it's about. And I guess what I'm taking from it also, as a social worker, is that when we are doing our work with young people, because there's lots of times, because whereby I worked with a lot of young people, and they've gone missing in the community, and being able to have that conversation with them to go and say, just be aware of your surroundings, be aware of your sense of self. If someone's telling you to do this and to go and do that, would you say that should even extend not just social workers, foster carers,
100%.
teachers? Yeah.
I've recently done a workshop with the YMCA.
Yeah.
And when I finished, I sat down and spoke to a lot of the young adults, and they said to me, I wish this is something that I knew about or I understood before I was put into this system, because maybe my choices would have been a little bit different. No one told me what I needed to look out for when I was younger, and now I'm in this situation. And once they're in the system, there's no one talking them through the system like and where they can think. So they actually really took it on and took the workshop on and said, I wish even now they're there, a bit more guidance, because it doesn't have to just be about sports. It's your general environment, like understanding different situations and how you can read it to always protect and keep yourself safe.
No, I agree with you, and I think you're right. I think we need to be having a lot more of these conversations. Where can people find you for SELFguarding? Where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram on SELFguarding UK, or you can find me on our website www.selfguarding.co.uk. And
just a message, what is your key to your camera? What is the key thing you want to say to parents and also to young people and professionals about SELFguarding? Key message.
Parents, what I would say is to be a bit more vigilant. Actually take the time and sit and watch what your child's actually doing. Look at their body language, listen to their surroundings, because it's not so much just to looking, but you want to hear what it sounds like. And ask your children, how did it go? What went right for them? What went wrong for them? Questions like that keep an open dialogue, so then you actually have a full understanding of what they're going through and how they're feeling. To everyone else out in there in the world, just be more aware of your environment and who you are with and how you approach it.
Excellent. And people, just to say, my message to local authorities and also to schools as well, is that this program and SELFguarding is very, very important for our children and young people, because we know what's going on within the community. And I would say to local authorities, please urge you, reach out to my cousin's organization, because we know about safeguarding, but SELFguarding is very, very important. And when we're doing a lot of our work regarding safety planning with our young people and with parents as well, it is about safeguarding, yes, but it is also about SELFguarding. So please, what I would say to all of you is that do make contact with my cousin's organization. She is doing fantastic work within the community and within sports. If any of you want to go on training, she does SELFguarding consultancy as well. So if you want to book her in, please make sure you do book my cousin in, into her organization. And like I said, she got an MBE for this. So I'm not just talking because it's family. She actually got an MBE. No, I got to say it. She got an MBE for this, because of the work that she's doing, okay? So for professionals, parents and carers, please go into SELFguarding. You can find them on Instagram. Book my cousin in. Local authorities, you need to tap into her organization. Yeah?
Can I just say one thing?
Go on, cuz,
thing? Don't be afraid of change. Change is good.
Exactly. We got to keep up with the times, innit? So, cuz, thank you so much
for
coming onto the podcast. Like I said, big up to you.
Thank you.
Getting the MBE. I'm going to say it again and again. Big up to you for getting the MBE. You're doing fantastic work. Please plug yourself.
I will make more of an effort. I will.
Plug
I
yourself
will.
more. Because yeah, my cousin's very humble. Like she's just very humble, but which is cool. But you need to plug the work that you're doing. Nah, but thank you so much. And people, you know where to find myself and Rob. You like, subscribe, and share. And stay tuned for another upcoming episode of The Social Worker and the Mentor. See you soon.
Thank you.